The former president of UEFA and head of European football, Michel Platini, has been detained on suspicion of corruption over the decision to award the 2022 World Cup to Qatar. French media are reporting that it happened in Nanterre, a western suburb of Paris. Well, joining me for more on this is our reporter, Alistair Sanford. And Alistair, what more do we know about this?
Yes, hello, Janet. Well, this information was first revealed by the French investigative website Mediapart. It's since been confirmed. It's all connected to an inquiry into the awarding of the World Cups to Russia in 2018 and Qatar in 2022. Michel Platini, of course, a huge star back in the 80s in French football, then became head of UEFA, Europe's governing body, but was banned in 2015 for breaching ethics rules. That ban is due to run out this year. He was summoned as a witness, first of all, to this anti-corruption inquiry in France. He turned up with his lawyer and was detained. Now, he was one of the 24 members of FIFA's executive committee who awarded the World Cup to Qatar. A lot of focus in France has been on what happened at a particular lunch just before the awarding of the World Cups to Russia and Qatar back in November 2010 at the Élysée Palace, the French president's residence. Now, at the time, the French president was Nicolas Sarkozy. Now, Platini has reportedly said, and when previously questioned, that he was surprised to find present at that lunch the Crown Prince and the Prime Minister from Qatar, as well as the Élysée's General Secretary, who's also reportedly being questioned now. Now, Platini's always said he was completely transparent about what happened. There was no explicit pressure to vote for Qatar. Even so, he was going to vote for the United States, but as a representative of France, not as UEFA, he said he went and voted for Qatar. And he says he always wanted the World Cup to be hosted in a different part of the world where it had never been hosted before. But of course, there have been huge questions, in particular into the relationship between France and Qatar. Lots of investment on both sides in each other's countries. As
you say, lots of questions. Just remind us of the circumstances surrounding the awarding of the World Cup to Qatar for 2022 and why it was so controversial at the time.
Well, first of all, it was unusual to award the World Cup for two particular years. It went to Russia for 2018, but also back in 2010. They went as far ahead as to award it for 2022. Now, Qatar is not a big footballing nation, we all know that. It beat off rival bids from the USA, from South Korea, from Australia, from Japan. It has a very low FIFA ranking. It's very expensive to stage there. Most notably, of course, there's a huge climate problem. In the summer, the temperatures can rise to about 50 degrees. You'd have the prospect of players dropping dead like flies, and also fans, even if they had air-conditioned stadiums, they'd have to get to those stadiums in extreme heat. So the decision was taken later to stage the World Cup in Qatar in the winter, which in turn means huge upheaval for Europe, for football seasons in Europe and elsewhere. Now, the Qatar team bid was cleared of corruption after a 2-year inquiry by FIFA, but the inquiry is still ongoing. 16 of the 24 members of FIFA's executive committee are in the sights of the inquiry. As for Michel Platini, he's been fighting back. He's always denied wrongdoing. He's got lawsuits against various institutions in France and Switzerland. He says there's always been a plot against him to make sure that he didn't become FIFA president.